The Echoes games are a series of audio games where you listen to audio segments from a short, adult-themed story and try to arrange the audio segments into chronological order. The game is facilitated by a smartphone app as well as several tiles that can be scanned in order to play the audio segment associated with the displayed tile. In the edition we played, The Dancer, there were 6 chapter tiles and then 18 item tiles. First, the players must listen to a prologue and then may start scanning and listening to the chapter tiles, which are starting points for various chapters in the story. And then they listen to the item tiles to try and figure out which item tiles go with the portion of the story covered in the chapter.
Thank you, Esther, for paying for today's lesson. Come in.
You start with 3 chapters and 9 item tiles, and when those are all correctly sequenced, the players move to the other 3 chapters and the remaining 9 item tiles. To sequence, the players go into solve mode, play the chapter tile, and then play the 3 item tiles in the order they believe they occurred, with the app giving limited information about how much they got correct. They then must solve one final time and scan all 6 chapters in the correct order. If correct, you have solved the game and can hear an epilogue.
This game, it is similar to a few other games that we've seen that have you using an app and scanning things and trying to basically solve some kind of mystery. But this game, it just falls short in like every way. It's pretty boring. You're just essentially trying to guess the order of things, audio clues, and put them in order, which is kind of boring. And that's basically it. There isn't any, like, unlike the other games, there aren't like, oh, this is a clue, this is a person, this is a place, this is an event. It's all just like, here are the things of audio, and put them in order, and it's just not real fun or interesting, or not a lot of problem solving or anything. You just kind of try to pick, like, oh, I heard this sound in the end of that one, so it's probably after that one. And then eventually you get like the whole story, but it's not entirely interesting to begin with. And there's just not a whole lot of problem solving or anything, just listening to these things and putting them in order. And you end up also having to listen to the same, like, minute long sometimes pieces of audio, like repeatedly, even like within the same portion, and then they'll play it again once you're all done, and you have to listen to it again, and then so it just becomes kind of tedious and kind of boring, and it's not real creative, or there's not a whole lot that goes into how you play it. So the app part's cool, problem solving in theory is cool if there was any problems to solve, which there aren't really. So it's just kind of bland.
Cody covered really all that there is to say about this game. I mean, imagine how difficult it is to have. There's 5 things that happen in a story. It's given to you in audio, and now you just have to arrange the pieces so that they are played in order. That is basically all this game is. It seems like a kind of game that might be good for, like, I don't know, teenagers in school playing, kind of learning about board games or something like that. Here's something you can play without really having to track tokens or pieces or anything. It's just pretty much audio. But then again, there is kind of a visual component because there's so many clues to remember, and like placing them all in order. There's like 40 pieces by the end of the game, you know. So you still need to have like notepad, or you need to have a visual aid from the images on the cards. This game shares a problem that some co-op games like Chronicles of Crime have, which is that, like, it's co-op, but it kind of feels like there's really, like, one person kind of has to lead and kind of make decisions about what gets done next because they have the access to the app. So it doesn't really feel that cooperative. Like, everyone's pitching in their, like, ideas, but I think, you know, ideally it would be a game where, like, oh, Rick and Cody have a certain idea, I have a different idea, and we have to kind of like argue our points, or like come up. We have a dispute, sort of. We have to like talk it out or something. Like, we have to make a decision about, do we interview that witness or that witness, and we can only pick one or something like that. And so I think that's the ideal. But what tends to happen is that these games just kind of like, well, one person kind of speaks for the group and just makes decisions because there's no penalty. You don't get anything wrong here. You can't fail. You just keep doing it till you get it right. So that's kind of a bummer. And I would have liked to see a game where it's maybe a story, and maybe you have to just make decisions about how to lead your kingdom, or you have to do interviewing of witnesses. But again, like with Chronicle of Crime, there isn't enough penalty involved in that game. Even though I love that game.
Done.
I'm done.
Okay. So, as far as other criticisms or maybe suggestions for a game like Echoes to be more fun or more complex. So, as far as Echoes is concerned, you had like 3 clues that you have to piece together in order for each, like, I don't know, I can't remember what they're called, like each case. And so if you solve enough of them, then it just kind of like becomes like a, if you wanted to, it could be like just like a I can't remember, I used the expression earlier, of course I can't remember now, but like it doesn't take a lot to solve the cases. So probably what the game should have is like a time limit, so it gives you like a sense of urgency to solve the case, and maybe like instead of just 3 clues per case, maybe like 10 or something, which is like, okay, so that'd make the game take like 3 hours to complete. But I don't know, some kind of like balance, because without the difficulty, what I was trying to think of earlier was process of elimination. So if you solve enough cases, then basically, say you have 2 cases left with 3 clues each, you just take all the clues that you have, like 3 clues, and just scan for the case. And if it's like, okay, well, these are the right clues, but the wrong order, then it's like, okay, well, I know that I just need to rearrange the clues in different order, and the last 3 clues go to this case, obviously. So it's like
Time.
1, 2, 10.
Cool.
Ricky, here's Cooper's evaluation of your review. Ricky.
Fuck, like micro machines. Like, do you know how shitty those wheels are on micro machines? Like, those things barely rolled at all. Let alone like you step on them and you like fling across the room.
Guess what other video I watched? Like, medical officials assess Home Alone injuries, and they're like, well, if the paint came down, he had a fractured skull and he's dead right there, and it's like, no.
I like how Harry's like dead. He's like knocked out from tripping over a bungee cord wire.
True. Well, true, but
when you get older, things affect you.
yeah.
Okay, dude, I have worked with a lot of clothes hangers in my life, and they would not hold, a 70-pound child.
Maybe you're not trying to bridge the gap between your playhouse and your
God, if you had taped like 10 of them together, it wouldn't work. Dude, like, you got the kid out of the house. Just take all the you want.
Yeah.
And just leave.
Nice God, dude. Listen, we came here
to kill a child, apparently. Okay, so like the 2 of them together, right? That's like at least 300 pounds, right? Just let go. You're 5 feet above the ground.
Well, I do agree with that. 3-story house, so
Remember,
it's a little bit scarier than normal. I just remember that. And Tom Scott. No.
should have done 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, why didn't you? Yeah! That's what you should have been doing instead of preparing a plate of mac and cheese you weren't going to eat.
Marv figure out how to flood a house, dude. You know.
Okay, does the water company not shut it off eventually?
No.
Good thing he's like just kind of roaming through the houses in the neighborhood. I'm pretty sure that shovel ahead wouldn't be that big of a deal.
Well, that's the thing. Like at the end of it, they're like, oh, and then at the end of it, they're just taken out with like a shovel to the head. Why in the did they collect the people who have been like actively trying to capture him, and then they just left his house? And they're like, thanks, Kevin. See you next week, dude.
Yeah, they didn't check up on him to see if he was
He had to clean all that up because, as we have clearly seen, when his mom comes home,
Yeah.
nothing is there.
I love this. The mom goes through all this work and the family walks in frickin' seconds later.
Remember that flight you didn't want to take?
That's like, this is like the, I guess,
So fucking good.
this is a difference between Home Alone and Home Alone 2 is that he has a happy ending, whereas the poor homeless bird lady just helps Kevin and she's still homeless and
Yeah.
crazy bird lady.
She has no turnaround.